And as soon as we walk in, this is our coach, by the way. Fellas, Woody's in the back rolling joints. Like, huh? Like, I didn't know that he didn't give a fuck that everyone knew.
Yeah.
So we go back there and Woody Harrelson's rolling joints. And we're back there smoking joints with Woody Harrelson, bro. It was unbelievable.
Welcome back to another episode of Podcast P, presented to you by Prize Picks, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original. We have another special edition of Story Mode with the one and only star from the super successful show All the Smoke, the big bro, Matt Barnes.
Man.
Appreciate you, OG. Appreciate you, OG.
Thank you, man. Hey, before we get started, man, I want to shout out y'all, man. I love what you're doing, especially, I've known Jack for a while. P, we played against each other, and I've known Pops forever. But just to give another perspective, I feel like media is shifting, and there's a lot of former players doing it, but there's not a lot of current guys doing it. And I feel like as a fan of the game now, as a former player, like I want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear what Draymond has to say. I want to see the guys that are in the mix have to say. So I just want to shout you guys out for doing your thing, man. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
Appreciate you. I mean, throw it right back at you, brother, because you pretty much pioneered this shit for us to even be able to navigate, through this podcast space and be comfortable in it. And it was initially, hard when we came and we talked about it just because, the backlash of, how focused is he if he is because he's doing this.
We were Dallas and I were talking about it in the back.
Yeah. So I constantly get that, but always first things first, man. I'm always take care of what, the main job is.
Keep the first thing first.
Exactly. Exactly. So we appreciate you for just opening up this lane.
No, I'm glad
to let us, kind of get in this with you.
I love it too. Like I was talking in the back, like I don't look at any of us as competition. I feel like it's just a shift in media,
right?
And people want to hear what we have to say. So there'll always be the ESPNs and the Foxes and the Stephen A. Smiths, but each of us have a different outlook and perspective and where you're coming from and where you're coming from. And it's something you can't get at the network. You know what I mean? So to me, I love all my brothers that are doing this and sisters that are doing this because, again, to me, this is not competition. I just feel like it's a shift in the media. And now we're starting to tell our own stories instead of having to go with the narrative that people paint.
Exactly.
Well, thank you again for that, we appreciate that, man.
No doubt, bro.
we had a little icebreaker. We talked about it a little bit in the green room about this possum in the kitchen situation.
Oh, boy. P.
But, we want to hear your side of like what actually happened.
Possums can be nasty.
Possums is nasty.
That's why it's like
this one was a
baby possum.
But he was still big.
Before the thing I didn't know though, if I was scared to watch it with you with the possum or your feet. I don't know whose feet was more toe up. You or PG feet when I seen
my
your
shit ain't
feet.
even bad.
Oh, no, your shit was bad when I was seeing you on the countertop.
No, sir.
I thought the possum was really scared of your feet.
Yeah, now don't get my black sandals convinced with my nice motherfucker. These feet have been through hell and they still nice. I take care of them. No, but to get to the story, I was moving, man, and I was telling you like the last thing to come down was our bigger projector. So we had the dudes in and out of the house. The door wouldn't open long, but I was carrying a box, and all of a sudden I seen something scurry behind me. And I froze, like when you see the cop siren and your heart hits your stomach. I'm like, what the hell was that? And so I put my shit down and I went in there and it was a possum. And like as soon as I turned the corner, we made eye contact. This motherfucker like rose up and loked up on me. And I was like, oh my God. So for some reason, I just thought it was funny, but I was scared as shit. But I'll say this, if I didn't film that, I probably would have been screaming a lot more because I was really scared, bro.
Yeah.
I'm hopping on counter to counter. I'm on live. People are telling me what to do. Like, excuse me, like white people are telling me pick it up by its tail. Man, fuck out of here. You pick it up by its tail. I'm not touching that thing. But I threw fruit at it, like tapped it with the golf club. Luckily, I say the most important thing is I had all those boxes there. I had those big moving boxes, and I made him like a little maze right out. I was like, we both go home to our families tonight. Like,
the door wide open.
It was
he chose peace.
Yeah.
So, I hit him with some oranges, and I sprayed him with some water and kind of got him active. I shouldn't have did that, but eventually he just decided it was time to go, bro. But it was that shit's been everywhere, man. That went on all the news and Entertainment Tonight and Inside Edition and all. Like people are seeing me at the grocery store. Like I saw you with the possum. I'm like,
You didn't find no more animals in there, did you?
No, that was it, man. I think that was a one-time thing.
I'm scared. So scared.
What club? What was the club of choice?
9 iron. I just wanted to let him know I'm kind of serious with it. Like it's not, I don't need to get a wood out there, but it's just come out. I just want you to leave at the end of that. I don't want to have to hurt you.
Right. What matters would you have taken if like
Animal
that
control?
didn't work?
Probably animal
No, I
control.
had to get him out, though. That wasn't an option to me, to be honest with you. Like, you got to go, bro. I'm not going to sit here and wait 45 minutes to get charged a couple $100. I'm going to have to get you up out of here somehow, somewhere.
Your boy, whoever he was, you called out.
He didn't want no
never
problems.
showed up.
He didn't want no problems.
Never showed up.
I didn't even know, dude. He was actually moving the TV, but he came and looked. I'm like, and I was about to ask. He's like, oh, okay, no.
I don't do this. No,
it's not the discretion, homie.
There was some dude he yelled out. He's like, come help me. And the dude, I never showed up.
Hey, bro, I promise you, bro, if I wasn't on camera, I would have been screaming. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, I'll fight anybody. I'm not messing with no possums.
Right.
That shit was funny to me.
Football free agency might already have you hyped for next season, but while kickoff is a long ways out, you can pick more or less on 2024 season stats on Prize Picks. Season totals for passing yards, receiving touchdowns, sacks, you name it, we got it.
You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, and college basketball. Entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app.
Prize Picks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value.
Look, I love Prize Picks because I love to win money. I mean, it's no better than winning money on Prize Picks because I just know the right picks. The other day, I bet it on my boy Reggie to get 5 assists. He got it for me. So all I'm saying is Prize Picks, keep giving me that money because I'm going to keep getting it from you.
I love using Prize Picks only because you can bet on more than just sports. I like the aspect of being able to do, League of Legends or CS2. I like to place entries on other things other than just sports, so it's been a fun experience.
With all that said, download the app today and use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. I want to make sure y'all heard me now. Use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. I ain't saying it no more. Pick more, pick less. I ain't saying it no less. Pick more, pick. That's it. Now back to the show.
So I want to start things off during your time here in LA while you were playing college basketball at UCLA. And you were a freshman on campus in 1998. But
long
talk
time
to us.
ago.
It's a long time ago. Talk to us about your time there, but more specifically, a few years later or before, Kobe gets drafted in 1996 by the Lakers. And I know he would work out up at the John Wooden Center. And just talk about seeing him coming in during the summer, getting his work in, and just your experience at UCLA.
It was dope. This is pre-cell phones, man. I'm dating y'all. Like, I never had a pager. That's how I used to have to get there. You have to page us on campus, but I didn't have a pager, so I was in the wind. But UCLA was a blast, man. So Baron Davis's class was right before mine. They came in as the #1 recruiting class, and then we came in right after with someone named Jerron Rush. If you don't know him, he was cold, PG, kind of you're more skilled, but like you, 6'7", does everything, a monster.
Brandon Rush, big brother, right?
Yeah, Brandon's big brother. Should have been a perennial all-star, man. But we had Ray Young. We had the #1 recruiting class back-to-back years, so I came to UCLA, and it was just popping. My first year at UCLA was an NBA lockout. So we had everyone coming to our game. Shaq, Kobe, they would stop the game when these people, this is Westwood. I'm coming from Sacramento. Like, this is what LA is like. And then we're going to Hollywood parties and all the, like, the screen. Like, it was like being in the pros, without the money. You know what I mean? Like, we got a little bit, but it wasn't pro money. But the life was great. But being able to fast forward to crossing paths with Kobe, because it's well documented, like him and Shaq kind of at the beginning, it was some whatever type energy. So Kobe was kind of a loner off to himself, because he was always on our campus, eating, working out, sometimes just sitting down. I remember he used to come in and go into the poly after we had practiced. I remember the one year, I don't remember the year it was, but he had a cast on his wrist, and he was doing workouts left-handed. I'm just like, this dude is nuts. But he kind of just started taking off, but he was still in there being Kobe. So just from the jump, I was just a fan. I'm just like, this dude is cold. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it if this is what the league is. You know what I mean? So just seeing a young him at 19 years old was dope. Just to kind of see his work ethic and how hard he worked at that young age, because he's only 2 years older than me. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yo, that was definitely the bar. So it was just a lot of admiration from the beginning.
Was there because we know about the the Rico Hine runs and stuff like that. Was there, those runs were going on?
Yeah, definitely.
Way before then?
A guy named Adam, but then most of the time Magic used to run him, and Magic was dirty out there. You could never beat. We had him on a live
Stacking
show with all the smoke. No, it wasn't. He would come in with his own players, but he would just call bullshit the whole time, and it was Magic.
Yeah,
so you couldn't. It would be point game. we're on defense. Magic doesn't have the ball. Like someone's guarding you, you're on Magic's team, and he'll call the foul for, even if it, and I'll bring that back down here, young fellas. We get the rebound. They miss a shot, he'll call the foul. It's legendary. Paul Pierce got on our podcast one time and told stories how Magic just completely magic the runs up. Yeah. But we had those runs, and it was dope. When I think I've just turned 18, so we're in there with Kobe and Paul Pierce and Shaq. I mean, those runs from the jump were legendary. I was a kid like, what the fuck is this? Mm-hmm. So to me, I credit that with me kind of getting the mentality and the dog to understand what it took to play on that level. I credit the men's gym for our crew that made it to the league. Like, it was the men's gym because we always played as a UCLA unit. Sometimes we get hot. Some days we get our ass kicked every day. Mm-hmm. But we got to bump with these real pros and all-stars as teenagers.
Mm-hmm. Man. Mm-hmm. Shout out Rico Hines.
That's my dog. Yeah,
what he's doing now.
He brought it back.
Yeah,
he brought it back.
I mean, because everybody knows you want to get some runs in the summer.
LA, yeah.
There's only one spot to go, and that's LA.
Yeah, Rico runs, baby.
I do want to talk about. I didn't know y'all necessarily played together at UCLA. Y'all was there at the same time, but the relationship before was a little rocky.
With Rico?
Yeah, with Rico.
Y'all heard about this,
Yeah, we heard about that.
So Rico used to pick on me, bro.
Yeah.
Because I used funny as it is, like I almost had to turn my thug up because I came light skin, good hair, what's this dude? Like, people used to try me. Mm-hmm. Rico used to steal my brush in the locker room and kind of bully me. And we got to, he's 1 year older. He's 1 year ahead of me in grades, but 2 years older than me or 3 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So my sophomore year, I think, or it's either my junior year, I just got tired of it. And we were playing pickup, and I knew I was going to be the starting three, and he was talking shit like he was going to be the starting three, and it was going back and forth, and I was getting the better of him, and next thing you know, he swung and missed, and it was on. Yeah. So, I if you were there, you know what happened. I got down on bro, and I walked away, and pause. Now you young motherfuckers be, and then something got thrown and hit me, and then we locked back up. But oddly enough, through that situation, bro, we became best friends. Mm-hmm. Before, I guess he was just kind of checking my temperature, and I let him know I wasn't, really with it, and we locked up, squashed it, and to this day, I call him one of my closest friends. So great dude. Know his mom, his sister was in his wedding. That's my dog now, but it came from locking up.
Locking up. That's honestly the best.
That's life.
Yeah. Honestly, the best. That's kind of like how a bond is forged. Is through those tough times.
Who won?
I had to whoop his ass. I had to whoop his ass one time. Oh man, I want to go back to those runs in the 90s and early 2000s, right? Master P was also up there at these times. Talk to us a little bit about.
Try to bully me too.
Yeah, I heard the story of that. If y'all two getting into it.
Yeah, hey, I'm trying to tell you, Pete. I used to try me because I was light skinned, and this is only one tattoo. So they're just like, "Who's this light skinned dude with one tattoo?" I'm just like, and it broke my heart because I was listening to Master P heavy my senior year, 11th grade, 12th grade year. Mm-hmm. So I'm calling back the home. It's like, you'll never guess who's up here, Master P. And I seen Silk and woo woo, but I'm just like, yo, No Limit is up here. Next thing I know, Master P's trying to bully me. So I'm kind of letting it slide at first until I had to bro, I'm not playing these games. You know what I mean? And he was fiery and I was fiery. People didn't really know, but I was fiery too. So I wouldn't say it almost came to blows, but it was just bro, I'm not playing none of that shit. So we could hoop or we could do whatever. Right. And I think it kind of, and to this day, him and I are cool. We talk about Mercy and getting my twins and working out with his kids, and we see each other at games, but I just got tested early. Yeah. You know what I mean? People wanted to see what, check my temperature, and that carried on into the league until I just had to keep letting people know this is, so they finally kind of realized okay, I think he's about what he says, and let's let it be what it is.
Yeah.
How did I'm curious on the background of those runs, and correct me if I'm wrong, but during your time, were you guys playing in the same gym as they were? Wasn't there another? There was 3 gyms that they had.
No, it's really been the men's gym. Sometimes we'd play in the Wooden Center if that was occupied, but it was really the gym that Kareem played in.
Got it.
Coach Wooden coached in. You know what I mean? It's just a historical gym. It's you walk up the stairs, it's old, and it kind of just has that mystique to it. We're actually trying to do a documentary on that right now. I've got a group of people we finally locked in with UCLA. So, we're trying to see if we can put this together. You got to think, there just wasn't much film back then. If you were there, you were there. If you saw Shaq tearing that motherfucking backboard down, or Kobe going to work against Paul, you were there. You know what I mean? So it's just to be able to bring that back to life and have these guys talk about those runs. They were incredible. I mean, people fought like it was serious. This wasn't these were just as competitive as real games, although it's summertime, because it was. I felt like it was one of the first times that all the stars were in the same spot, so no one was trying to get shown up by anybody. And I'm 18, like, oh shit, yo, UCLA, y'all up? I'm like, oh, okay, who am I going? You know what I mean? So it's just like I was a fanboy, but in the same moment, I got thrown in the fire and got cleaned out one time by Shaq, and it hurt, but I thought it was cool. Like, Shaq just fucked me up. Okay, let's go. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it was such a great learning experience while I was a teenager.
Yeah. I think it is like it's a bucket list destination spot that you have to go if you're a fan of the culture, a fan of basketball.
Yeah, you got to get there early.
It's the best of the best.
And you got to get, and it's carried on to your guys' time, and Bron's been like everyone's been there at some point. KD, like everyone's been there and played, and it's just dope. Like I said, if those walls can talk, they would tell some crazy stories.
Right.
I don't think so, to be honest with you. I think because, like, I feel like it's shifted. Like when you got to think my first year in the league was 02, 03. You know what I mean? So LA wasn't really popping for a basketball scene. You know what I mean? It was more New York, Miami, and then all of a sudden it shifted and everyone started coming to LA. And that's when that shit really picked up. I mean, there were runs there with local LA, but this is when everyone started coming to LA for the summer. You know what I mean? Because it was popping, early 2000s, women, rims, the vibe of LA, the energy was different. So everyone was here in the summertime, and that's when that shit really started picking up. So I wouldn't say that people avoided it. I mean, there's some people that got embarrassed and some people that got beat up, but I don't think anybody ran from it.
Right. Yeah, I say that as well. I mean, obviously you know more of it than I have, but I mean, it might be dudes that show up a day before just to be like, oh, okay, this is what it's about. The next day they suited up. Like, I gotta be a part of this.
They want to come check it out. Yeah, for real.
Nah, it is, and I feel like nobody misses at that motherfucker. Like,
it's crazy.
Everybody is locked in. You might get your ass bust, but everybody be locked in.
And there's 3 courts, and you stay on the loser court 2 or 3 games in a row, and no one's watching your game, and the competition level goes down. And it's bullshit.
Yeah.
You gotta stay on the number 1 or the number 2 court.
Right.
That 3rd court's don't mess with that.
I see how you represented your school today.
Yeah, man, we did a Root to Fight, did a collaboration with Jackie Robinson.
Well, I need that hoodie for
you. Yeah, I'm see it, and it's the bottom too. You know what I mean? It's a piece. They come together. I'll see if I know somebody that owes somebody that knows somebody.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna see if I can get
that Jackie with the Jackie Robinson.
Yeah,
that's what I want to say.
Yeah,
I want to take you back to right before you started your NBA career. Ask you about when you first played your first season in the ABA. For the Long Beach Jam.
Horrible.
And you played with this dude, some I don't even know what to call this dude. You know who I'm talking about, Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman, bro.
Yeah, I want you to tell me, what was it like playing with that man?
Unfortunately, it didn't last long because I got called up, but he was trying to make a comeback. I think he was fresh off a motorcycle accident. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it was. But we were together for like 3 weeks, and he would come to practice with an entourage and flip-flops and his bulldogs and just super, super cool. Didn't really talk a ton. Like, I would try to go out of my way to but I wasn't nobody at that point, you know what I mean? So I wasn't really trying to do too much, but it was cool, man. I wish I would have got to play with them longer, but, luckily I got a call up to the league, to the Clippers, and kind of was off, but it was dope. Super cool, helped where he needed to help, but, just was kind of to himself. I mean, you got to think this dude is a 5-time champion, I think, at that point, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean? And he's down here in the slums. We was going to Juarez, Mexico to play games. You know what I mean? Like, it was the grind. And to me, to kind of fast forward through my career and be able to make it out of what I made it out of and play, 15 years of basketball, it made me appreciate everything, bro. Like, first of all, I feel like I'm better than where I'm at right now, but it just made the entire journey that much sweeter, because I know where I wasn't, they think, oh, you get drafted. I got drafted and cut. And that shit is real, you know what I mean? So how do you pick yourself back up and get on your marathon and get back to the league? And that's what I did.
Wow. Matt, I got to ask you, just because they know that my dad coached me and Paul in high school, but when I was probably 10 or 11 years old, the Pumps used to coach or put together an exhibition team that would play college basketball teams. They don't do that anymore. No. But I believe on that team...
Ed O'Bannon.
One of the O'Bannon brothers, Matt, was on the team. I was like 10 or 11. They all had these big headphones. I told my dad, like, bro, I need some headphones, bro. So I'd be in the bus. They played up at Fresno State. I remember driving up. I'd sit on the bench and just watch these guys play. But when was that? Was that after? Well, this was before.
That was after.
When was that in your career?
Actually, no, that was before. That was right when I got cut from Cleveland before I went to the G League.
Okay.
And then the other thing, yeah. So it was.
I was just curious. I had to ask you. I'm like, where was that in your career?
Yeah, no, Pops was cool, man. I got a chance to meet him back then, and then randomly, my fiance finds his church maybe, and she's like, "There's an amazing pastor." And one day she was watching him because she couldn't make it. I don't go to church all the time. I just saw you the other day. I'm not gonna lie to you. Football's Sunday. Football's
at least you came. Some people sitting to my left.
No, but crazy enough. So my girl is watching it on TV, and I just take on her phone. I look. I'm like, let me see that. She's like, what? I was like, I know him. That Dudley. Like, yeah, that's his name. Like, oh, he used to coach me. She's like, what? Yeah. And so we came to, and we met, I introduced him to my fiance. She was a big fan of him, like loved his preaching. And, long story short, but yeah, it was dope.
Rihanna came to church this weekend, by the way. I got
she did.
Back, Jackie. She smelled great.
Dallas is going to use this.
Talking about.
Man, bro, it was. She walked in. It was like.
Y'all make sure y'all edit this nice for Dallas.
I wanted to know where that was in your career because I know it's been
right after college,
different. Mm-hmm. So that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Rihanna really came to your church.
Yeah,
yeah, she did. I met her.
So after the ABA, your first NBA games were with the Clippers. Ended up starting 9 games?
Yeah, it was crazy. Because I went, not to cut you off, Pete, I went there, played well, but this is right when Sacramento, I'm from there, and the Lakers are going at it, this early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go home every summer and I work out with C-Webb. That was my big homie, Mike Bibby, Jay Will.
Mm-hmm.
They were traded for each other, but both the homies. Like I was working out all the time, Rick Adam, and they were one of the best teams. This is right after the refs cheated them and Lakers won. So I'm in my hometown working out, and my agent's telling me, yeah, we're most likely going to work out a 2-year minimum deal to go back to the Clippers. I'm thinking, but at that time, it was like, bro, we won 14 or 15 games. We used to practice South by Southwest. We used to have to leave the back doors open so people wouldn't rob our cars. Mm-hmm. There was no locker room, no shower. Like the Clippers were the shithole back then, bro. Mm-hmm. This is Q Rich. Lamar just left Elton Brand. Keon, my first day of practice, bro, I kid you not. And they're going to laugh when they hear my first day of practice, Keon Dooling and Quentin Richards got in a real fight. Like right when I'm kind of got my shit, they're bringing me in. These dudes are squared up and swing, connect. Yeah. Like, I'm like, oh, this is what the league like. We're cracking. Like, yeah, we cracked. You know what I mean? So that was my first day. So it was horrible. So I say all that to say, like, Rick Adelman came up to me, and because I worked out all summer, I was playing pickup. I was playing really well. He's like, what are you about to do this to your son? I'm like, I don't know. I got some options. He's like, you want to stay home? I'm like, what? This is my hometown team.
Mm-hmm.
So I signed a 1-year deal there, and then I get traded with C-Webb to Philly. And that was horrible. That's when I first met AI, kicked it with bro, but it was bad. It was doomsday. 2 years there, didn't really get a chance to play. I was almost out the league come year 4. You know what I mean? And then Baron Davis is the college homie. I was back home for the summer, and he was at Golden State, and he's like, hey, we about to play pickup. Like, come fuck with us. I was like, all right. So I drove down to the Bay for like an hour and a half, played really well. Nelly happened to be watching, came down, and same thing Adamant told me, son, what do you 2 years later, son, what are you going to do next year? But this time I didn't know. I was training for football at that time too, because my brother was playing football. I was a football player first. So I'm like, my agent had lined up like 6 or 7 NFL teams to do like a private workout. So I was like training some of my days. Part of the days is football, part of the days is basketball. Went up there, played well. Nelly puts his arm around me after, like, hey, I can't promise you anything. We have a full training camp roster. Like they had 18, 19 guys. If you play like you did today, I'll give you an opportunity. I'm not going to promise you nothing, but if you play how you play today, I'll give you an opportunity. And I beat everyone they had in training camp out. And then 2 more guys they ended up cutting to sign me. So and I went from the back of the bench all in one season to starting. And that was that We Believe season. Mm-hmm. And then from there on, it was, I kind of I was good. Yeah. But it took, I was almost out before I was even in.
It's a lot to unpack there. Hey,
yeah.
Did you
I put you
playing football?
Yeah, bro. I was almost done, bro.
Football, you know what I mean? And basketball. How was that practice? Like shit.
Just different. I was because football is my best sport. I was recruited All-American in football and basketball, but I just didn't see no one 6'8" at the time. You know what I mean? There wasn't, and after that came the Antonio. I mean, you saw Tony Gonzalez, but he was 6'4". Right. You know what I mean? But there was no one 6'8", and there wasn't really basketball players making that jump outside of Tony. But then you see the Antonio Gates and the other guys start. Guys that played college basketball and just went to the league in football. And like football, I was really good at. Basketball, I had to work at. You know what I mean? So it was just like, shit, if this is not, I'm going to play pro. I just don't know what it is. And I don't like to ever disrespect nobody, but I was I could really play football.
I never knew this.
And I felt like, you know, once I made it, I felt like I was a football player in the NBA. That's why I love physicality. Like I love playing defense. I love being physical because I'm used to like having to tackle and getting tackled.
Did you play at UCLA?
So I was going to. I went out actually my junior year. Bob Toledo, Cade McNown was the quarterback, or he just left. Freddie Mitchell, Deshaun Foster, the coach at UCLA now was out there. I went out there and did spring ball, did a couple practices, and then we had talked to administration and they were trying to, we're going to have to change your scholarship. You know, you probably won't start for basketball. You have to move out. We were in the dope dorms because we was hoopers. We probably have to move out. I'm just like, damn, all this because I want to play football. I'm just like, forget it. I'll just stick to basketball.
What position? What position you played at? Receiver. Okay.
Wow. That's what. So when you guys were talking about speeds, I really used to. So I clocked at the Las Vegas. We went to a Las Vegas camp in high school. I clocked like a 4.39. Like I knew I was moving.
6'7",
you know what I'm
6'8"?
saying? 38-inch vert. You know. Can really catch, ran routes. So when you said like 4.7, I'm like, you have to work to get that.
You didn't have to break that story up.
Yeah, I was just saying.
It's inaccurate. This guy played football. He knows what a 540 looks like.
It's tough. He said he knows what a 540 looks like.
So the NFL miss you because of the dorm.
Huh? No, I like no BS. I really felt like, again, I don't like to disrespect any craft because to make it in anything is, you know, it's a dream come true and a lot of hard work. But I felt like I would have definitely made a splash in football. I just don't know how long it would have lasted. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm 6'8", and this is before they made like it's almost flag football now. With all due respect, all the rules, what you can't do. This is when they could take your head off.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just like I felt like now I walk, you know, everything feels good now, and I'm 44 and I'm good. I don't know what I would have been feeling like, or if I'd even be here.
Right. Was there any part where you, like, throughout your NBA career, was any part where you was like, man,
always.
I wish I would have.
A Sunday ticket. That's why I told, like, all due respect, I love football. I love football more than basketball, with all due respect.
Yeah.
I lucked up and played, you know, 15 years of basketball, but I love football. So Sundays are Sunday ticket.
Who's your team?
Niners.
Okay.
Niner gang.
Yeah,
what was some of the teams that you had lined up that you could have worked out?
The Giants, I think the Browns, Raiders. Man, who were they? I don't want to misspeak any team. People are going to try to look it up. I know those three for sure. But no, they said there was like 6-7 teams that were interested. I mean, because you got to think I was a 6'8" athlete. So can this guy really do it? I think some people were just curious to really know if I could play. But like football was really my first, like my rival high school had two pros. I don't know, Dante Stallworth that played, and then Ontario Smith, who was really good and got in trouble for the fake dick and got kicked out the league back when it was smoking. Yeah, so I played against dudes that really was in the league. You know what I mean? And used to give them business. They could tell you. So
my boy
like
was Megatron before Megatron.
That would have been
out here playing football. 6'8".
You just think of like what would have came after that. We probably would have saw a gang of motherfuckers, big, tall motherfuckers. You think? I
mean, similar. I mean, you know, what's Braun, 40 or about to be, or 39? So I'm about 5 years older than him, but he was same thing. You know what I mean? They made it like it's rare to get someone our size that could really do that. Right. You know what I mean? Most of the time, just throw it up. Like, I was running stops and slants and all kinds of screens and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, he thinks he could.
I can.
I'm not mad at that.
I don't think.
Probably on Madden.
I think basketball guys, and this is, again, I don't want to, basketball guys can, if you can catch, like our athleticism and skill and instincts, like I feel like I wouldn't be mad if I, you know, once you got hit, I want to see how you reacted once you got popped. But before that, I think you'd be straight.
I gotta ask this question. What do you, from a basketball player, which one you think is an easier adjustment? Basketball player trying to make it into the NFL,
much
or
easier.
NFL player trying to make it to the NBA?
Other way. NBA trying to make it, or excuse me, NFL. What am I trying to say?
NBA player making
it to the NFL.
Yes,
that's what I was.
NBA guy trying to go to the NFL, because again, depending, you're gonna be a skill guy, so most likely you have to catch the ball. You're not going over there to hit. Yeah. So you see a lot of guys transition. You know, Antonio Gates and the redheaded dude from the Saints. Like there was a lot of big 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" tight ends that like played college basketball and it didn't go to the league that way, and then crossed over. And Antonio Gates is a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean, but he's a basketball player first.
They got the, I mean, even linemen. Like you see these big offensive tackles
on their feet, bro.
Were centers, and then now you put them on the football field, and motherfuckers is elusive and agile and carrying 280, 300 pounds.
Yeah, I might take that back. I might run a 5'1". I might run a 5'1".
It's starting to make sense now.
I'm gonna give you a sub 5 and under. I think you're right there.
4.99.
I take it, shit. Damn.
I'll probably bet the over, to be honest with you, though. A couple racks.
You mentioned your time in Philly, and so you go over to Philly and you get the opportunity to play with Allen Iverson. And we all know, you know, Allen Iverson, the superstar on the court, but from stories that we've heard, just the rock star, the celebrity that Allen Iverson was off the court. So walk us through maybe a good memory or a trip that you took to Atlantic City with him. Like, give us something on Allen Iverson and what that was like.
Y'all doing your homework, huh? I've never seen, and I've got to play with Kobe, Shaq, Steph, KD. I've never seen anybody love a person more than people loved Allen Iverson. Never seen it in my life. I remember one in particular. There was this white kid in Indiana, and it was snowing outside, and he grew his hair out and did the cornrows and markered a mustache on and had the arm sleeve on and didn't have no undershirt on. It was snowing out that bitch. But he looked like a little white Iverson. You know what I mean? Like, I just never seen going to visiting cities. They'll boo the whole team but cheer for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or be out and about, and it's just people are just mesmerized by this dude. And it makes sense. I mean, he did so much for the game on and off the court, culture, fashion, his game. But yeah, I mean, I really didn't get a chance to play on that team. That was, you know, I almost beat up Mo Cheeks on that run. I was almost out the league. The next year was the Golden State year. That second year, the next year was the Golden State year where I was almost done, and luckily it happened. But just to be around him off the rip, super cool. Let me drive this little well, I got traded with Webb, and he let me drive a little what was it, a little Mustang for like 2 months until I got me a car. Just super cool. Took me to Atlantic City. He was just a homie because him and Webb clicked up, and I was like Webb's little brother, bro. I was miserable out there. I was just smoking weed and playing video games, bro. I was working on my game, but I didn't. This is a young Iguodala, a young Kyle Korver, Lou Will, who was a first year Lou Will, and they just didn't let me give it a chance. Like I would use the games, like, but this is back when we really practiced. So I would use games as practices, and Mo Cheeks would yell at me for shooting the ball, and we almost got in a fight, and it was hell. But to be able to kind of be little brother, like be Webb's little brother, and be able to move with him and Chuck, it was dope. We go to Atlantic City. I got my own penthouse suite and Louis the 13th. Do whatever you want. He's like, it's on the house. I'm like, huh? They would sometimes give me money to gamble. I gamble something, put half that shit in my pocket, bro. Like, come on, man. I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring me. So I might need to save this shit for a rainy day. But again, to fuck with him and be with Webb, man, that alone was amazing. And then I got on my feet that following year with the Golden State team. But there were some dark times out there, but you know, being cool with both them, and to this day, I mean, Allen Iverson is under All the Smoke Productions now. You know, to kind of, I'm trying to get him back out and start to talk and do his thing because people love him so much. So it's just kind of a full circle moment. From again, it's Allen Iverson, right? You know what I mean? So it was dope.
Do you have any stories of him? We heard that he would like to go to TGI Fridays, and I think he was his club. Play pool.
That was his club. Like that was his club. After games, that was his club. Like that shit would be packed.
To play pool.
Consistently.
I think of something like that, or he just loved
loved to be there. Loved to be there. He was just he was a people person. You know what I mean? He was one of those superstars that was touchable. You know, and everybody just loved him to death. Like I said, Philly was cold. Philly would boo the team sometimes, but they would never boo Chuck. And other teams would boo the whole team sometimes, but people never booed AI on the road. It was crazy.
Yeah, I 'cause when you think about it, he doesn't really he's not really relatable. You know, at that time with the cornrows, the tattoos, the smallest pretty much on the court on most occasions. Like it is crazy. Like, you know, asking you, like, why did you think he was like just because of how he played the game?
I think the way to get to be there and see him and the way he played. I mean, this dude was little. But he would always have these big bruises on his hips and burst a sack. If I'm not mistaken, he said he started wearing the sleeves because he would fall on his elbow so much that they would start swelling up like tennis balls. So he was just beat up, and he was the same way. You know, you want it now or later. And obviously, you wanted it later. Right. You know what I mean? So you'd see him kind of limping around, sitting down, and then all of a sudden, he was able to turn it on, and he would get beat up. All like that's when they could take you down. You know what I mean? Like big fellas would take it. The play. Chuck scoring a lot, come over and get a hard foul. You know, it wasn't a flag or nothing, just how the game was played. So just to see his day to day and the way he played and worked, and then, you know, the love he had for his family and his mom was around. It was just got a chance to see him, and I think, you know, although he wasn't relatable, he was relatable to the hood. Yeah. And I think he's a hood superstar. You know, obviously an NBA superstar, but he was a relatable from that point. He wasn't your prototypical poster child for the NBA. Right. But he was relatable to the inner city.
Was that a dream to go back and play because you said, you know, you had those runs with BD and you was in front of Donnie Nelson. Was that a dream to kind of go back? Because, you know, Golden State is close to Sac.
I'm originally from, my pops was in the street, so I was actually born in San Jose and was kind of in that Bay area growing up, and then went to Sac when I was 10. So to be able to come back to the Bay, and the Bay was always just so dope to me, because I moved to Sacramento. We was on the move and some shit had happened, so we went, and this was a cow town. I'm used to, and I'm Italian and black, but I'm used to, you know, playing outside with the black kids, Mexican kids, Asian kids. I go to Sacramento, and although our neighborhood isn't that good, my parents always put me in white schools. You know what I mean? So I just never really never understood it till I got older, and that's a whole nother story. But I always felt so much energy in the Bay. So to be able to come back, fast forward, you know, 10, 15 years later, and the team wasn't that good at the time, but the fan base was always so amazing, bro. So that's why we took so much pride in that We Believe season, because we gave them hope again. And that shit was rocking them. That series versus Dallas, I mean, you know, it was crazy. Was Steve Kerr was a commentator for TNT at the time. And then when I went back my last year and we talked, that whole team, when I went back to Golden State for my last year, when I finished and the team won a championship, the players, the fans, the media, the coaches, like, what was that We Believe team like? Because it's like a myth out there.
Yeah.
And Steve Kerr, you know, said like, we've run and we've won back-to-backs, and I've never seen a crowd louder than that crowd, because it was just so new to them. You know, I think this team spoiled them, and now they're in, you know, now the gentrification of the game took over, and they're in Frisco, and the prices are crazy, but they were smoking weed, bro, in the crowd. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was Oakland. It was Oakland to its real culture, its core, bro. Yeah. So it was dope.
No, it is interesting, because, you know, I played with Monte, and Monte would tell me some stories about that, you know, We Believe team. And, you know, just, I think what stood out more than anything, and the reason the success came with that team, was just, you know, it just felt like y'all really had like just a brotherhood. Together. Y'all was together. Y'all was connected. Yeah. He'll tell me, man, on any given night, a dinner, it could be 10 to 12 guys, you know what I mean? They're out together at the same time.
Every club's dinner.
Right.
Like, we smoked, we drank together. That team was wild, bro.
Yeah,
you know
I mean,
like,
he would tell me stories of like,
well, because we're done now, so that whole team is done. Yeah, like
before the flights, put a bottle on the table. Yeah. Like
they were fighting, and this is kind of like social media was a part. Like, we got in fights in clubs and all kinds of like it was a different energy. Yeah. Like, we drank, we smoked, we would go practice hard. Like, it all changed when Jack came to the team. So when Steven Jackson came to the team, like, he kind of had a little trouble pass. This was fresh off the brawl, and then he had a shootout. So they had to get his ass up out of Indiana. So Jack comes to this team, and I knew from the jump. I didn't know Jack. I had played against him. I didn't know him. I looked at his lips, and I knew he smoked. So I'm like, I'm going to fuck with Jack. You know, and right after rip, I kid you not, you ask, and we start smoking. We're going over his house after practice and smoking and watching game film.
Right.
And just hanging out, ordering food, and just from there, like, we all bonded.
I looked at his lips.
I knew he smoked.
You caught that? That is a perfect fit.
Because your lips is black.
Yeah.
I got to fuck with him.
Yeah, I used to. I knew what he was on. So like, we instantly bond, and that team. And you got to think, Monte was a baby. I'll tell you a quick story about Monte. Monte got his first tattoo, bro. It's this cross right here, and we were in Sac, like one of the last games of the season. He got this tattoo from my tattoo artist. I had it on video one time, but it was grainy as fuck, sweating his ass off, tripping. Like, Monte was a baby. I think Monte came out of high school.
Right.
He, like, they say, like, he didn't take no shower till he got to league. He was always bass. He's from Mississippi, you know, so just straight country boy. So we kind of just came and corrupted him. So bro came out, got this tattoo at the end of the season, came back next summer, tatted, or next season tatted more than all of us. Blasted, bro. All this shit tatted. But he was so cold as a youngster, bro. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit for how good of a bucket he was.
Right.
He was tough, and he'll dunk on you.
Right.
He had it all, country. Man. He used to crease his pants. Like, Monte was country as hell, but cool as shit, bro.
Yeah.
We love Monte.
He's, to this day.
Where were you guys together at?
In Indiana.
Oh,
he was there. I want to say I was there 2 seasons with him. Like, he was just someone I instantly gravitated to, because
that was our young fella.
He was just like real. You know what I mean? It was just an authenticity to him, where he was just himself.
Great
he didn't
dude.
care. Great dude. Great vet.
Yep.
And it was a time where
it's crazy to hear you call him a vet. He was a baby. He was a teenager.
Yeah, he was my vet.
That's crazy.
But for me, it was a time where everybody left. Right. It was, you know, George was the only one from the team with Roy, David West, Danny. George was the last of the Mohicans of that group. And then so when Monte came over, you know, outside of George, I didn't really, you know, everybody that I rocked with was gone. So it was like, man, I need someone to fill that void of, you know, I had real OGs, real big brothers. And Monte came in and filled that void, and instantly it was just like, man, this dude, I fuck with this dude, man. He's funny as hell. He was country as hell.
Country as shit.
He fished. I love fishing, so we'll go out on the lakes, man. We was killing those crappies.
Yeah,
he was just a good dude, man. And it did suck. Hindsight now, I understand where he comes from, because it'd be times where he'd be like, man, I ain't got it today, man. Y'all want it tonight? Y'all want it today, or y'all want it tonight?
Real question.
And that resonates with me, like just how much you go through, how much you put your body through, and some days it's just like, man, my shit, like, I can't move.
And you too, you're rare. You know what I mean? You do it on both sides of the ball. Like, I wanted to ask you, like, I think it's so dope because I caught a little bit. You know, when you started going was kind of towards the end of my career, but like, there's so many great players out there, but a lot of young players like love you. Like, you're a lot of these young kids' GOATs, which is dope, but you're like the prototypical 6'8", 6'9", do it all. You know what I mean? On both sides of the ball. So I want, like, how does that feel amongst, because like Carmelo's son came out as a lot of these kids have said it, and people are like when I look at the comments, like, they're surprised. I'm like, nah, PG's a fucking killer. And like I said, your game is what this newer game is. Obviously, you bring IQ with it. A lot of these young motherfuckers just want to do all this, but you bring a high IQ with it. But it's just like, when you hear that amongst the greatest to ever play this game, we're kind of in this era right now. Like, how does that make you feel?
Honestly, bro, it's a blessing, honestly, because like I never approached the game. I was always felt like I was chasing someone. Like, I was trying to chase and be like Kobe and be like T-Mac. Those was, the guys I looked up to. So, it always felt like, now I'm hearing these stories of kids having that similar, approach to me. Because, I mean, let's be honest, it could be Bron, it could be, KD, it could be, Steph, all of these guys that they could really be like, man, these are my GOATs.
Not you.
It's been me.
That's dope.
But, I just feel like I've always tried to play the game the right way. I've always tried to play both sides. I never credit, my shot could come and go. It's been nights where I've been awful from the field. But I never let that impact how I'm going to play the game. You know what I mean? And I feel that's what, kids kind of resonate with. Like, we see the flashiness. We see, him going off for 30, 40-point nights, but he's still going to play the right way. He's going to make the right passes. He's going to handle the ball. He's going to, create opportunities. He's going to rebound. He's going to take the matchup and guard the best player. So that's kind of what I get out of it more so than anything. It's just like, man, I just rock with how he approached the game. You know what I mean? He just play the game the right way.
I love it. I love hearing it.
Yeah.
So that's dope.
And I actually had that moment in Charlotte with Brandon Miller.
Oh, just recently. That's right.
Yeah. And it was a crazy moment playing against him. And as we're playing, he's like in awe. When I make a shot, he like, damn.
Right. You did him dirty, Pete.
Nah, but it was like, as we play, like I haven't had that moment while I'm playing someone being, in awe. I make a shot and I could see him on the bench and he like
he do how you would.
So it's just it's a cool moment.
I mean, it's surreal from a standpoint of like I was telling you earlier with UCLA. I got a taste of it in college, but when you get up there and you're playing these dudes, like obviously we're not going to fanboy out like I'm a man like you, but it's just like these are people that like you looked up to, and like now you're bumping with him. You know what I mean? And you're out there playing defense and hitting shots on him. It's just like it's one of those moments. You know what I mean? And I think it's dope because, in an era where people don't get respect, I think it's such a negative environment now. But for people to like come out and say like you're theirs, I think that's dope because I'm a fan of your game, and I know that you do, and I love that you think along with all your tools. So it's just like the dope to see you kind of get your flowers in a day and age where people hate on Steph and KD and Bron all the time. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So it's dope.
Appreciate you.
No doubt.
So Matt, you talked about the We Believe Warriors, and you guys were a number 8 seed, and you ended up beating Dallas, who was a number 1 seed. But walk us through that series. What was maybe one thing about that series that most people don't really talk about?
We knew we were going to beat them coming in. We had success against them during the regular season, and you got to think Nelly kind of helped build that team. You know what I mean? So we knew what Dirk was going to do. This is the first time that Nelly put Jack, me, because Dirk was a problem back then. If you were too small, he would post you up. If you were too slow, he'd go around you. So we got we're 6'8", 220, 230, a little stronger, more grittier. We started playing Dirk with small forwards at the time. We were small forwards at the time, playing a Hall of Famer. And every time we knew he was going to dribble and spin, but we just took Dirk out. And Nelly, Because I don't know, there was some kind of beef with him leaving Dallas. I don't know who, it was over some money or what the fuck happened, but there was funk. Nelly just gave us that confidence that like, this is the game plan. If you follow the game plan, we're going to beat them. So we went in thinking we were going to win, and we took game 1 in Dallas. You know what I mean? And then after that, we was rolling. We was at the Crescent Court. You guys still go to the Crescent Court?
Yeah.
We was smoking that hotel out, bro. Oh my God. They gave Jack the 2-story room that had the upstairs with it.
On the sixth floor.
Yeah, we was, bro.
Okay, bro. Relax.
Hey, we was, PG probably get one of them.
I had the sixth floor 1 or 2 times.
Hey, but we would go in there and we would go play the game. We stole game. Some people say we stole it. We went in there, we ordered some food in Jack's room, we smoked, and we all went to the club together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was like a real team vibe. And just from there, we just had the confidence. And then once we got back to the Bay, we knew it was over. Like the crowd was standing up an hour before the game. Like it felt like the gym was rocking. You couldn't even, so when we were shooting our warm-up shots, like it was packed. People screaming, yelling, doing cheers for individual players. I've never felt no energy like that. The tree was in the air from the fans. It was just like there was no choice, but we had to win.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just different.
It is like, because when you talk about what is it, the Chase Center now, and what's the
Oracle.
The Oracle.
Yeah.
It is a totally different environment. It is a totally different vibe.
Yeah.
The two arenas. Like the Chase gets loud, but I mean, I've had times of playing in Oracle, and I would tell people like it's up there with Boston. It's up there with
deafening.
Like what OKC is now.
Yeah, oof. They get loud.
Yeah, it was one of the best places to play in.
No, it was dope, and it was the first time in so long for them, for us. So they was losing their voices out there for us.
At this time, you had Coach Don Nelson as your coach, and we all know he's one of the best coaches ever to ever do it. And but at this time, when you played for the Warriors, you had said that this was the wildest bunch together or whatever. And I want to know, at some point, when did you guys think that Don was the right coach for this group?
I mean, he was just dope. I mean, he came in and just implemented a style. You know, it's always been kind of Nelly ball. He was a small ball guy, and he kind of changed the game a little bit. Excuse me. You know, Phoenix was started playing that style, you know, small ball, and he was dope. We would come in, we come in early, get our work in, scrimmage for a little bit, and that'll be it. You know what I mean? He wanted us to save it for the night. He would come in the morning at 10 a.m. with his little dog that would piss everywhere with the beer or a coffee cup, but sometimes the coffee cup would have Crown in it. Yeah. I mean, like Don was just an original. You know what I mean? He was just different. We won that series. We made a cartoon about this. We won that series against Dallas, and you would have thought we won the championship. So we was in the streets. Snoop hits, or before we get to Snoop, Jack lived in the same building as Nelly, but Jack's on like the 12th floor. Nelly's the whole roof. So we go down there pre-party at Jack's. Go up there, and as soon as we walk in, this is our coach, by the way. Fellas, Woody's in the back rolling joints. Fuck? Like, huh? Like, I didn't know that he didn't give a fuck that everyone knew. Yeah. So we go back there, and Woody Harrelson's rolling joints. And we're back there smoking joints with Woody Harrelson, bro. It was unbelievable. So then from there, we smoke a couple, take some shots. Yeah. Coach is over there talking to us. Great. We bounce. We go to the club, and then Snoop hits us. He was in town. He said, nephew, come through. So me, Baron, Jack, and my sister went to the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco. We go in there, and this is right when the blue carpet dropped. So we were watching the animated version of the blue carpet smoking. So Snoop would roll motherfucker up and pass it. So at one point, bro, we have 3 or 4 blunts in our hands, loaded. My sister didn't even smoke. She got so high she passed out. So we hear a knock on the door, and Pete, we in season, bro. This is not summer. Right. We in season. Right. We just won. And me and Jack freeze, like, what the fuck? And they come in, and they were cool. What's up, Snoop? Oh, what up, fellas? Good game tonight. These motherfuckers unscrewed the window so the smoke can come out, so the smoke can get out. You know, let us know if you guys need anything. Brought us everything on the menu. Yeah. Like, that shit only happens with Snoop. Right. Like, we thought we were done, bro. Like, we had just, can you imagine if David Stern found out we're all smoking weed in the Ritz-Carlton? Right. This is back before, like, you guys don't get tested now, but we would have gotten some real trouble. But it was just a crazy night for a round 1 win. We got to the second round. Like, it wasn't no championship or nothing. People say, you guys talk so much about that team. You guys won 1 round. I'm like, you're right. It was just that was just a different bunch. It was just a different bunch.
I want to know, shit, did you ever smoke with your coach, though? Duh.
No, we wanted to. Hopefully we do. We're supposed to go out to. So no, he definitely, he's kind of the unofficial mayor of Maui. He's got his own strand of weed out there. He's out there walking around barefooted with his rich homeboy. So we want to get out there and burn one with Nelly before it's too late.
Yeah,
you got to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Just thinking about that, it's like, how can you not play for a guy like that? You know what I mean? Like, cool, he one of us.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah, he one of us. I do want to talk about the next series you guys play against Jazz. BD has the incredible poster on AK-47. Lifts the shirt up. It's funny. I heard him talk about it not too long ago. People thinking he had the waist trainer on.
Oh, yeah. No, that was his thing for his back.
But you were on the floor when that play happened. And from that, I mean, I think people, they see that dunk, but like they don't even picture Utah Jazz going on winning that series. Mm-hmm. It's more that dunk that was the biggest highlight of that whole series. That matchup against Utah, what stood out between the matchups with them?
I mean, BD got Karolinko, but Karolinko is the reason why they won that series. He shut BD and Jack. We slowed him down. Excuse me. Karolinko, and I don't think he gets enough credit. AK-47 was a problem. 6'9", versatile defender, move his feet, block shots.
He was different.
He could lock up a point guard, but then also almost play as a center and block shots.
Right.
Like, AK was different, but that was a tough team. That was Mimino Core, who was nice, a stretch four when there wasn't a ton of stretch fours. Carlos Boozer was a young bull, power forward, then a young Paul Millsap. So this is when me and Jack are playing the four. So we got to go up against 260, 270. These dudes are big. I feel like game one, we got cheated at the end, man. You go back and watch how many free throws they shot down the end. And then game two, some more bullshit. That was one of the most racist crowds I've ever played in front of. There was nigga this, nigga that in Utah. It was crazy. Like, right? No shame.
No shame.
I said it. Yeah. Like, we'll catch him say it. Like, I just, you know what I mean? It was nuts. But that was a really good team. They went on and played San Antonio, Timmy and them, and then San Antonio won. But what was crazy about that year, and we even talked about this, we were supposed to get Kevin Garnett that next year. And there was talks about KG coming, and it's funny, we had Mitch Richmond on. He talked to us from the management side. We had Ticket on a while ago, and he talked like, he's like, Oakland was definitely one of my destinations before he went to Boston. You know, he definitely considered, he wanted to play with the Lakers. He said Kobe didn't call him back because I don't think Kobe wanted the superstar. He wanted to do his thing without Shaq.
Yeah. And
Golden State, and then he ends up going to Boston. So we think the next year, like, we're going to have that We Believe team plus Kevin Garnett.
Right.
And we thought we could have ran with something, but it didn't end up working out.
Damn. Talk about that small ball with now KG in the loop.
Ooh, KG at the 5. We've been sick.
Okay, we're going to fast forward to the Phoenix. You witnessed one of the craziest injuries with Amari.
Oh, yeah.
Getting his eye.
Almost got his eye poked out.
Necessarily gauged out. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about
it was in preseason, man. We wasn't even. It was a inter squad scrimmage, and he got poked and went down. And he was like, I heard like squeals that I'd never. And you know, he's strong, tough. Like, it was just like, damn. And that's when he came back and wore goggles his rest of his career. But it was a crazy time because this team was kind of moving. Like, I guess transition. We had Shaq, but we had got Jay Rich and still had Steve Nash, and this was a good team. And Terry Porter was our coach. I think at the time, Terry Porter was the fastest coach ever to get hired. I think old boy took the record, which is crazy, over there in Milwaukee this year. But Terry Porter just tried to bring a high school college system in. We were doing Indian runs in training camp with Steve Nash and Shaq. Like, can you imagine that shit? Like, what are you doing, bro? Running with the balls above our head? Like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like, we got Steve Nash, we got Shaq. Like, and the way Shaq used to talk to the coaches, it was just all bad, bro. And it's just that season was just great opportunity playing with, you know, G Hill and Steve and young Barbosa. But that shit was just doomed.
Yeah. What was the initial? Because I could speak from my experience of getting hurt, you know, as a season is coming up. When I broke my leg, it felt like, you know, I deflated the whole organization. Yeah. When Amari had that injury, did it kind of have that same
he was
effect?
our superstar. You know what I mean? We had Shaq, but Shaq's on the backside of his career. Steve is dope, but Amari was incredible, bro.
Yeah.
They used to call him Statcock. And the superhero that everyone loved
Hancock,
to hate. From Hancock. But Amari was tough, bro. He'd have his kill spots. MB, these are my kill spots. I get here, give me the ball. You know what I mean? Like, he was just different. He was a fucking monster.
Right.
You know what I mean? Rebounder, dunk on you, mid-range, catch lobs. Like, Amari was a problem. But that poke in the eye completely derailed the season.
Where would you rank him from all the guys you played with from tough. A talent standpoint?
I mean, Pete, the one thing I say about my career, bro, I played for a lot of teams, but I got to play with a lot of great players. Like, where would I put him as a power forward? Who I got to, I mean, C-Webb was a power forward that was nice. Mari, Blake, young BG. BG was a problem. Zebo. He's up there.
Played with some greats.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think just power forwards. I mean, I think I played with Allen Iverson, Steph Curry, Chris Paul, Steve Nash,
right?
Kobe, Vince Carter.
Dwight.
Young Dwight Howard, bro.
Yeah.
People don't know how good he gets. So disrespected is crazy. But with a young Dwight Howard, I've never felt more comfortable playing on-ball defense. And I know I had Dwight behind you because Dwight will block that shit or foul you hard. Like Dwight's all smiles, but on that court, he was a monster.
He was mean.
Strong as hell, bro. So Dwight, yeah, I mean, I played with a lot of great players and, made a lot of lifelong friends. So like the journey was fun, but yeah.
How you think they get that wrong of not putting Dwight on that top 75 list?
It's probably people that didn't play the
that's
game.
Didn't play
the game. I would love to see who made the list. I mean,
because it got to be a little bit of politics.
Like, yeah, I mean, you think him, you think Vince. Vince is someone who should have been a top 75. I'm sure there's other people. I haven't thought about it, but to not have Dwight on that top 75 is insane. He was incredible, and the fucked up part was, he had that back surgery coming from Orlando to the Lakers and wanted to, prove everyone so wrong that he could still do it, and he was getting a chance to play with Kobe. That he rushed back, like it was supposed to be like a 8-10 month recovery, and he was back in like 6 months, if I'm not mistaken, and he was just never the same. But he still adapted. I just don't understand, like him and Boogie, how come they didn't get a chance to go out the way I thought? Because Boogie was cold. Should I play with Boogie?
Right.
You talk about Embiid and Joker. Boogie was giving you 50-point triple doubles.
Right.
Boogie was mean.
Them. Yeah.
And he was a ball handler, make plays. He'll slap you. Like that's what I feel like he has on Joker and Embiid. All three guys very skilled, but Boogie will slap you too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like that. I like that about him.
Slap you too.
Yeah. But a lot of game comes with it. Yeah. So
I want to know, at that time, is it true that Shaq was singing T-Pain all the time, talking about, we need Mike D'Antonio back?
Shaq was the funniest dude ever. Shaq is the best dude I ever had in the locker room. And maybe I have a feeling he was kind of always like this, but again, this is the backside of his career, man. He used to fuck with this dude named Lou Amundsen. I don't know if people know, but
yeah, I remember Lou.
They had a back and forth thing, and one time, bro, Shaq shoot around. How fun! Shaq put Lou's mouthpiece in his tights and put it up underneath his nuts.
What? Whoa!
Bro, if I'm lying,
we gotta throw hands.
Bro,
I'm sorry, big fella.
He didn't know and put it in his. Oh,
come on, bro. If I'm lying, I'm flying. So everyone knew but Lou. Everyone knew but Lou. So Shaq goes through a whole shoot around with Lou's mouthpiece under his nutsack. And put it back in his locker. And then before the game, like coach would be talking, and Lou's always someone that's gonna kind of get up, put his mouthpiece in, and jump around, stretch, because he's an energy dude. Bro, he put that shit in his mouth. Everyone died. Laid out on the ground. But what can you, I feel what you say, PG, throw hands, I feel it, but that's Shaq, bro.
No, it might be
it's gonna be ugly.
It might be a polite, like, listen, Shaq,
man. You gotta put his tires
Yeah. I mean, they say I got heat for niggas like that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not fighting Shaq, but Shaq was crazy. Shaq would tackle people naked, and he was just he would keep the energy light and fun, and then obviously, be serious when needed. But Shaq was such a cool, like, I'm glad I was always a huge fan of obviously his Laker run and Orlando run. I got the end run where he wasn't the same player, but just the person. He's a great person, will do anything for anybody. We spent a lot of time together. I got to see all his kids, bring the kids over and hang out. Like, our families kicked it. So it was blessed to be able to, again, not the Shaq that we all loved and was a killer, but just to get to know him as a man, as a teammate. Super dope.
Fucked up teammate.
Oh, he was. Bro, somehow, he did something
for that.
Bro, Shaq,
Shaq did a lot of praise, but
bro,
Shaq during practice somehow got Lou's fucking bike put up. There's the 3 tiers on the stoplight. Somehow Shaq got that shit during practice put all the way up on the top tier outside the practice area. Like, how the fuck do you do that, bro? There had to be like someone from the city had to come do that for him and put a bike on a stoplight. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Shaq is wild.
Shaq is a fool, bro.
And we know how great, Shaq was his time in Phoenix. What, in hindsight, like, what is the most or what is weirdly underrated about Shaq's dominance and what he's done for the league?
To me, he's the most dominant player, and I say with that with all due respect to Wilt, because I felt like he played in an era where there was more bigs night to night, and then the competition was higher. I mean, Shaq in his prime, you couldn't do nothing with Shaq. He couldn't shoot, but you still couldn't do nothing with him. You couldn't do nothing with him, and he was mean too. Shaq used to say, okay, he gets cooking, let him come to the land, and I'm gonna lay him out. Like, Shaq was on that he played in the old school, old rules. He was just incredible. And I got to see it up close personal being at UCLA, you know what I mean? Being in these Laker and Kings rivalries and get to see Shaq in his prime and tough. And then like, so what I always loved about, you always hear the stories too about what he does for people. Like he always looked out for people, money wise, situation wise. Like he was just a really, really good dude. He's also an incredible player.
Right. You talk about like the larger than life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Personality. And
You've mentioned a few times like the old school, he'd lay you out or he'd put you down. Why do you think, from a fan's perspective, this is just my opinion, why do you think that the NBA has gotten, you know, so much softer? Like in your career, you were known for being a tough guy. You had a role, you played hard, no defense. You played hard every possession. And I'm just curious from your standpoint, is it more so just the rule change? I feel like that's the easy way to like say why the league has gotten softer because of the rules. But I think there's a whole nother aspect of what's that other aspect that you would contribute it to?
I think it was a business decision. Because at the end of the day, if you think from a fan's perspective, you don't want to see a 91, 89 defensive bet. There's no highlights there. You know, now rarely do people watch full games. Now they watch highlights. So I want to see Steph shooting from half. I want to see people dropping 50. I want to see PG go for 60. Like I feel like with the rule change the game became more global. Because there's more highlights and you hear it all over the place now. Like I feel like for real, like I think this was David Stern's vision. They didn't know how it was going to get there, but it's a global game now. And I feel like because it's the uptick in scoring, you know, there's a lot of scoring and scoring is a lot more fun than defense. You know what I mean? So it's just like they've really made it tough for defenders to lock in and play defense because they want people to drop. They want James Harden to go on his historical runs and Russell to go on his triple-double. All that shit is more fun than a Detroit Pistons lock you down hard foul game. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm someone who obviously made a living, you know, played 15 years on being kind of a 3-and-D guy before there was the 3-and-D label. But, I mean, I understand where it's at. I would love to see more defense, and I would love to see guys compete because, especially in the All-Star game, I never was an All-Star, but I just think that shit is disgusting now. You know what I mean? And that's how you get hurt is when you don't play hard.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just wish people would just be more competitive overall, but you can't blame them because the rules allows it to kind of go that way.
Could you pinpoint one rule if you were going to give the defense a little bit more?
You know what? I don't know if there's a rule, but I think people like James Harden, I wouldn't say messed it up. I think James Harden is so intelligent that he beat the game. You know, there was years when like he was getting 15 to 18 free throws a night because he knew how to draw fouls and kind of manipulate the defensive rules with the hooking and going to the basket and doing it. And whether you hate it or love it, it was effective.
Right.
And I feel like, you know, that kind of was the transitioning point, I think. And when they kind of just stopped kind of, you know, as he was going, you know, late 16, 17, 18, they just kind of stopped. You can't, you know, they kind of took the physicality and the aggressiveness out of the defensive game. And again, I think it was because of, we have some really skilled, talented guys, and let them be great. Let them go score all these points because that brings more eyeballs than a defensive battle does.
I get it. So one other player that we haven't discussed was Grant Hill, who is one of your favorite players, and you had the opportunity to play alongside him. But how was that, you know, getting to meet Grant Hill and having an opportunity to play with him?
And see, he's one of the greatest what ifs. You know, him, Penny. You know, you look at guys like that. Grant was so cold, bro. Grant was cold. He was before his time. He was a triple-double machine. You couldn't do nothing with him. Mike couldn't do nothing with him. Pip couldn't do nothing. Like, nobody could do, and he was a good dude. And he went to Duke. And Duke dudes get extra hate for no reason. But I used to not like JJ until I fuck with JJ now, but I just didn't like him because he was a Duke dude.
Because he went to Duke.
But G Hill was so cool, and it was just such a kind of crazy opportunity because I've literally only played one real year in the league. After that We Believe season, my mom died after that season. I didn't really play that whole season. Then I'm in Phoenix, so I really haven't established myself. I had a good run with them. Then I followed it up with my mom died, and I didn't really have a good season the following year. So I'm there, but I'm on a mission because I know this could be my last opportunity. So I come in there and just try to impose my will on everything, playing balls to the wall, playing, and Grant was starting the starting three to start the season. And then at some point, I don't remember who it was, but I started at the three. And I'm thinking like one of my favorite players, you know, could have been one of the greatest ever, but more than a basketball player, great person. You know what I mean? Just such a great dude. So it was kind of like surreal, like going from one of my favorite players to, me not even know if I'm being in the league to almost, and I wouldn't even say beating him out. It was just, he was older. You know what I mean? So I got a chance to go from, kind of backing him up to starting, and it was just like, whoa, kind of crazy. But G Hill was dope. Like I said, a great player, what he could have been, still played a long, successful career, but I would say off the court, even a better person.
Very cool.
I want to take you to when you played for the Magic.
Ooh.
Your ass done played for a lot of teams.
Yeah, bro, I told you. We went through, and you guys are making sure you guys are getting every stop, too. Yeah.
I want to take you when you played for the Magic, and you had the big dog on your team, Vince Carter.
Incredible.
And you said he was one of the most gifted players you ever seen play. So can you please explain why you said that?
First of all, shout out to Vince. Him and Chauncey just got inducted to they got inducted to the Hall of Fame. So congratulations to them. Yeah, just they came out
dope.
today for sure.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to Vince.
Vince, easily one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. Just someone that could throw a football 70 yards, could still dunk it 46 between his legs without warming up in a suit. Shoots jump shots left-handed like he's a right-hander from half court with no effort. 3/4 court from his ass. Though, like, he was just different. He was just one in golf. Like, Vince does it all. Just one of those incredible athletes. And it was just an honor to kind of get to see that night and night out. Just see incredible dunks and incredible scoring. And another cool dude.
What you think when he scored that 48 points with them against the Hornets?
Just incredible. I mean, I've seen him hit so many big shots for us, and in practice and over his career as a fan, and he was different, bro.
Yeah.
Different
How
kind of
old
athlete.
was Vince on that team?
This is like 2009 or 10. So at that time, I'm 29, 30, and I think Vince is maybe 5 years, 6 years older than me.
Okay.
So he may be pushing on 50 right at now. So he's probably maybe, backside, maybe 33, 34 at the time, maybe.
Yeah. You had a chance, you spoke about playing with AI, you spoke about playing with Kobe, Grant Hill. Like, what just made Vince so much different? Like, because he had the athleticism, but he had the finesse too.
Yeah, he was skilled. Super skilled. He was just one of the most, I think, God-gifted athletes I've ever seen, but then he worked and he was very skilled too. I mean, again, he could shoot jump shots with his left hand that looks like his right hand. Like, I could barely do anything left-handed. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, he was one of them dudes that could launch a football and launch a basketball, and it was just big-ass hands that just and dunk and jump and catch it off the rim. He was just different. I think, everyone that you mentioned, worked hard, and Vince worked hard, but he had a lot of God-given,
it was just natural
shit
ability.
You can't train for.
Yeah.
That's great.
This is what we got to know right here. Gotta know right here.
Definitely gotta know.
We gotta talk about the
Like,
infamous.
he didn't know this was coming.
The infamous baseline ball fake.
Yeah.
Walk us through the lead up, the build, because I mean, I've had instances in games where I get into it with somebody, and for a moment, it's just like, all right, it's a game within the game. I'm gonna fuck with this motherfucker now. Like, it ain't. I might not necessarily be that mad or that pissed off. It's just I'm gonna fuck with you now.
Yeah.
Was that kind of like how that played out?
I mean, just Kobe, and you caught a little bit of him. He was incredible, but he was also, he would try to mentally attack you. So whether it's playing games or elbowing you in your sternum or elbowing you, like, he hit me with a sternum shot that knocked the wind out of me. I caught it. He tried to go, I think Bynum was guarding Dwight. Dwight shot a jump hook. Kobe tried to block her from the backside, and I caught it off the rim and dunked it. And as I'm coming down, like, he elbows me from like here, and then hits me in the chin, and the motherfucking ref standing right here. I'm like, motherfucker, you didn't see that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was to the point where I just was like, enough is enough. It was the end of March, and you got to think Orlando and the Lakers played each other in the finals the year before. So this was supposed to be possibly the finals matchup again. It was late in the season, and it was just a real back and forth battle. And I was just to the point I was ready to fight him. And it was a good-ass game, back and forth. I made him work. I think he had 30-something. I made him take close to 30 shots. It was just one of them games where it was will against will. And, I ended up faking the ball. And it wasn't even like I tell people, like, to this, I can still feel the moment. Like, it wasn't like, I'm going to fake the ball in Kobe's face. Like, my motherfucking arms just did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm still watching it. The play was a double pick for Vince coming off the backside for a little layup or dunk, but I'm just, my arm, like, that's how much I wanted to, like, fight the dude.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we did his last interview, and I told him, we laughed about this shit, and people know because I told the story now, but like after that season, he called me, and my situation in Orlando didn't work out. So I was talking to Pat Riley and D-Wade about going to Miami. This is the same season Bron and Bosh are coming, and they're trying to sell us on what it's going to be and da-da-da-da. And I get a random call from a number I don't know, and I just happened to pick it up, and it was him, and I didn't believe it was him. Like, fuck out of here. It was really him. We talked back and forth what I was going to do. I mean, anyone crazy enough to fuck with me is crazy enough to play with me. Do you want to be a Laker? And, 4 days later, I'm there. You know what I mean? So it wasn't, it went from, like, again, and it's crazy because the story started in the late 90s. You know what I mean? Just admiring him and seeing him, being around him and kind of being like, that's our bar. Like, I missed MJ by 1 year, so Kobe was our guy. Right. You know what I mean? So to be able to compete against him at the highest level, become teammates, and then from there become brothers. Like, we were off the court, hanging out, going to dinner. People would say, like, you're the only one that ever got Kobe to go out. You know what I mean? We going out in Milwaukee, and MB, what you doing? I'm like, just land. I'm about to go smoke real quick. He's like, well, call me when you're done, and we go do something. We go get some food. I'm like, all right, bro. So we just kind of just took to each other. And then, fast forward after sports, and he was coaching Gigi, and I was coaching my twins, and we would communicate about watching each other's kids. My twins were like 8 at the time, and this dude, I remember one particular time, like, we played at 9 and they played at 11. And I didn't think he would come. And this dude came 2 hours early to watch some 8-year-olds play. You know what I mean? And he would always send the twin shoes, and we would go watch Gigi. And it was just, it was something that started off as admiration, and then it was a mutual respect while we played. And then we became teammates and played together. But then it grew into like a real brotherhood, once we became Laker teammates. And that was my dog, man.
Yeah. That's interesting. You said that you were almost a part of that big 3 Miami team, though.
Yeah.
How like, was you?
No, I talked to Pat Riley like 2 or 3 times, put D-Wade on the phone, and he was, and I don't know if Pat will remember this. If I'm lying, I'm flying. He's like, the closing lineup is Bron, D-Wade, you, Mike Miller, and Chris Bosh. That's what he was telling us. Like, can you imagine that on the floor? We're all 6'7", 6'8", you know what I mean? Tough. Like, switching everything, doing everything. That was kind of and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm for it. Like, I'm for it. But then I grew up a Laker fan. Right. You know what I mean? So you get the call from Kobe. Like, I ain't got no choice but to come down. But it was crazy because after I was getting super death threats after that. Like, I became, like, I was kind of the bad guy, the villain, whatever. But like, I became like the real villain after that shit. Like, people would say they were like on Twitter, they're going to kill me. They're going to find my address, kill my kids, kill my girl, come to LA. You better never come back to LA. We're going to kill you. Like, they're not, you can't fuck with Kobe. Yeah. The essays in LA don't play about the Lakers and Dodgers, and particularly Kobe. Like, bro, I got so many death threats. I kid you not. And then I came, and it was love. Yeah. But it was like, I'm going to kill you.
It's just crazy because your natural reaction would be like, oh, shit, hold on.
Like, no, still to this day.
Chewing is gone.
Like, I be flinching sometimes, like, damn, I just flinched. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just do it. And knowing me too, I'm crazy. I might have just hit you in the face with the shit, but he would have just had to hit him in the face with the shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he was on. So, I mean, that's what I say. Only him, and I've talked about it so much, but it's just like it was, obviously a viral moment when things weren't really viral, but it's really what kind of sparked our brotherhood in the remaining years of his life.
Got it. So now you are with Lakers, and you with Phil Jackson, and this is the closing of Phil Jackson's time with LA. What's some experiences that you can tell us about your time with Phil?
This team's going for a 3-peat, and Kobe's hell bent on it. You know what I mean? Hell bent on it. Like, his old MB, I got to sit at the table with Jordan. Jordan had 6 rings, Kobe had 5. So this was his goal, was to get that last ring. And this is, I mean, it was cool to see Phil. I mean, Phil, you talk about bad feet, Phil's feet are fucked up. And this nigga used to wear sandals. So he knew he was a master at pushing people's buttons. So he used to fuck around our test. And one day Ron went off on him. He said, you fucking fucked up feet. You always fucking having those, like, went off on his feet because Phil was trying to fuck with him and push his buttons. But that team was crazy, bro. That was a transitioning from, like, the Bus family not really knowing who's going to own the team. Jim kind of stepped into the reins at the time, and everyone was like, oh shit, like, here we go. Kobe was trying to catch that last ring. At the end of the season, Phil has us in and tells us he has some health problems, and that's why he's going to step away from the game. And it was just like so much riding on that season. And, that was my only knee injury. I tore my meniscus that year and was out right up until the playoffs. And that was the year that Dallas went on their run. Like, I think one of the toughest runs. They smacked us. I think in the second round, they swept us. Went through, I don't know if they played in the Western Conference, and then they ended up beating Miami in the finals. But it was just so much riding on that season. And then the next year, Phil's thinking about coming back. for some reason Jim doesn't like and doesn't give Phil the proper amount of time to respond, and goes and hires Mike Brown, and that shit was a disaster. And I think even Mike will tell you, I think Mike learned a lot getting an opportunity to go to Golden State and be under that tutelage, but his shit was just like, you know, people are used to Phil's way, and Mike's way is different, and he definitely didn't have the respect of the locker room, and that was kind of the beginning of, or that was kind of the end, I felt, of Kobe's window to possibly win it, because you got to think, man, that team was good, and that was the team that the league blocked Chris Paul coming to our team. CP3 is supposed to get traded for Paul Gasol, and LO.
That drastically changed.
LO, so, you know, we're talking to CP, Kobe's talking to CP, we're thinking CP's coming, and then the shit doesn't go through, and then you got dudes that have to come back to the, like, Powell was supposed to be gone. And he handled it as a pro, but LO kind of mentally fucked LO up. And then shortly after that, he's off to Dallas. They trade Fish, and that was kind of like the team was done.
Yeah, end of that era. I do want to talk to us a little about, you talk about like talented people you play with. LO was one of like the players that I looked up to as well, with, because he was, I don't know, he resonated with me with being tall, lanky, and could do it all. Like, how good was LO?
Lamar was so good, bro. Lamar was so talented, lefty, smooth. You know, kind of at the end of his career, kind of developed a jump shot because he wasn't really a jump shooter. He was like a New York point guard stuck in a 6'10" body. You know what I mean? Silky, make plays between the legs, dunk on you, mid range, could do it all. And someone else too was always the cool, like, LO was always making sure everyone was good. Like, limos downstairs after the game with L, females on deck if you need, like, whatever you needed, LO was that. Was the guy. You know, he was kind of the pusher, you know what I mean? And kind of come find LO, and LO knows the temperature of what's going on in every city. So I have fun playing. I play with LO with the Lakers and with the Clippers, and just a great dude, and, you know, just had that demon. And I'm glad. I love to see his bounce back, you know, because he went through what he went through, almost died. And now he has rehab clinics, and he's kind of, you know, making his, you know, trauma, helping other people through it, which is dope.
Shout out LO, man.
Also, shout out you real quick, bro. I saw you and Batman are building houses.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
It's funny.
Christian Bale, shout out to Christian Bale. That's Batman. You know what I mean? That's dope.
People in the comments like, yeah, man, PG really is Robin, man.
Yeah, for real. That's fucked up.
That is fucked up.
Hey, that's
but
no way.
He really is. He really is Robin.
Surprise guest came through.
Speaking of feet.
Hey, don't let him do that to you, bro.
What's up, Reg?
Come on, Reg, we got room.
Don't let him do that to you, Reg. What up, baby? Yeah,
we just got Reggie Jackson in the building.
Yeah,
Shout out to Reg.
Absolutely, yeah, for real.
We got Reggie Jackson in the building.
So I don't know how many fights you've been in throughout your career.
Damn.
Well, I didn't know this, but now it's a fun fact that you were fined over $500,000 during your NBA career.
Cold game.
But only one teammate ever stepped up and said, you know what, Matt, I got you on this one. And that was Kobe. He covered your fine. Talk to us about that specific incident, and how did you find out that Kobe had paid that for you?
I don't even know what the incident was, but I kind of feel like, you know, I knew what my role was. And that's why I played until a lot of guys, and I don't even mean to sound conceited, and I was a role player, and I know that. I played until I didn't want to play no more. Not everybody could say that. You know what I mean? Because I knew what my role was. So a lot of the times the shit would go down, it wasn't because people were fucking with me. It was because people were fucking with CP, Blake, Kobe, you know, the guys that I played for. And I never claimed to be the toughest, but if we go into war as a team, I'm going to be on the front line with you. I probably even throw the first punch if I really know you're going to take care of the fine.
Yeah.
So the one person, like I said, I always got like, there's a thing where me and Serge Ibaka almost got in a fight because I felt like he was trying to bully Blake. And like, nah, bitch, I'm not going to let you get in his head because we need Blake.
Right.
So Blake, I'll fight this dude if I need to. You know what I mean? So it wasn't on no tough guy. It was just, to me, it was a super teammate. And I feel like I was the guy that people hated to play against because I'm going to play hard as fuck and I'm going to be on you and I'm going to make you work. My job every night is to guard the best player. So I'm going to make you work. I'm going to make you earn it. I'm going to hard foul you a couple times. Like, it's just, you're just going to know that I was there. Whether I score a lot of points or get a lot of shots, it didn't matter. Like, I looked at wanting to play defense and the privilege of guarding people like him every night. And us going to me going at it with Kawhi in the playoffs when we bumped them out when I was with the Clippers, and kind of ended their dynasty. So that's what I kind of prided myself on. So yeah, Kobe was the only one that stepped to the plate, even though probably 400 of that was for taking up for teammates. But You know, again, that's why
400 of it?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
That's why Kobe was my dog, though. That's why I say, like, Kobe was, like, my dog for real.
And but you didn't know, right? Like,
no, they. I think one of the ladies told me. Like, he didn't tell me.
Okay.
Like, you know, Kobe took care of your fine. I'm like, what? Really? My dog.
Yeah.
That's my dog. No, I'm like,
I got a funny, like, just on Kobe taking care of people. I got a funny story just of, we're playing USA. I don't know if I told this story. Playing Team USA. And we, this is the young guys, me, John, Boogie, we go out, right? And, you know, we still on our rookie deals. And at this time, I'm not spending no money like that. You know what I mean? I don't know what's my future going to be like. You know, John and DeMarcus, you kind of tell they was going to be stars, but, you know, I'm on my way, working my way up. And, you know, so they finally like, you know, let's get a little Ace bottle. I'm like, y'all sure?
I got 5 on it, right?
All right, fuck it. Like, I ain't gonna be the one not to do it. So we get the little Ace bottle.
He said the little one.
Next thing you know, it's the bottle girls coming out. It's the jumbo joint. So 3 of them. Two. So I'm like, damn, like y'all, like what is? So I'm like, fuck, like it's girls in the section, like.
But you're not on none of that. You looking at thinking how much of you gonna have to pay.
Yeah, and I'm like, damn, I ain't had no Amex or none of that yet. So I'm like,
you
I don't even know if my card gonna work.
I might have to, they go, Mr. George, you got to put your pin in, please.
So in my head, I'm already thinking of like, just swipe it or let me talk to y'all over here.
Yeah.
So I'm nervous as hell as these bottles coming out. That's what I'm thinking of.
Funny.
And then next thing you know, we standing on the back of the chair or the couches, the sofa. We standing on the sofas, and we get a tug from behind. Turn around, it's cold. Hey man, y'all enjoy the night. And he just walks out. Now I'm like, oh, these is what. And so the girl comes like, yeah, Kobe took care of it. We didn't charge you guys. Kobe got these bottles.
You remember how much it was?
I don't even. I gave that shit to John and
just prayed.
Yeah,
just prayed. You know what's crazy?
And we was up there holding these big ass bottles.
Yeah. After that, you could relax a little bit and enjoy yourself.
Bro, I had a night. I had a night after that.
Hey, Chandler Parsons told a similar story where he said it was his, you know, and he said Kobe. He said they were playing in L.A. And Kobe starts being cool to him, and Chandler thought he was trying to mind fuck him.
Yeah,
and he's just like during the game tells him he has him set up. I think it was at some
supper club.
That was a supper club.
Supper club.
And they're drinking all night and having a good time. And similar to you, early in his career, next thing you know, the check come on is $30,000, and he's like almost shit himself, didn't know what to do. And then the waitress just tells him that Mr. Bryant paid for it, just put his initials. And it was good, but he'd say it was similar. Like he thought he was gonna die. Like he didn't know his dad was his accountant, I think, and he didn't know what his dad was gonna say.
Right.
And thought his life was over, and Kobe paid for everything.
I mean, it had to be similar. It had to be about 30-40 grand.
Oof.
I was like, God. That's what I was on. My only concern was just the embarrassment of the card not working.
Right. That shit is real. It is real. They got all kinds of excuses why that shit didn't work.
We know you ain't never been afraid of nothing except the damn possum. You understand what I'm saying? But
possum scared me.
I know you like to tweet.
Oh
yeah, you like to tweet. I'm getting right there. I'm bringing you in like I brought you in. See, I'm tweeting you.
Segue.
Yeah. When you played for the Clippers, you wrote a tweet that said,
"Sorry for taking up for these
niggas. I love my teammates like family, but I'm done standing up for these niggas. All this shit does is cost me money. Now, I need you to paint the picture for me and then detail exactly what was going on in that moment during the time when you was with them Clippers."
I got thrown out. I got thrown out. Yeah. I got thrown out for taking up for Blake, and I didn't leave in an orderly fashion. So that right there was 25 for getting thrown out and 15 for not leaving in an orderly fashion. And then the tweet cost me 25.
The tweet too?
25,000, bro.
Wow.
What was it? Just the niggas part that they didn't fuck with?
Yeah, well, they had to be the niggas.
It was during the game too, because I got thrown out, so I just got to the locker room. Yeah. So the game was still going on too, and it was just me. I'm a repeat offender. You know what I mean? So it was like a $60,000 kick out. After all, and it made me even madder because I didn't know about the extra 15 and the extra 25 for the tweet.
Start tacking shit on.
It was an expensive ass night, bro. You know, that was
tweet for a minute.
Man, I was so mad. But that, like I said, it's funny you guys brought the only person to ever pay for me taking up for him was Kobe. Yeah, and I was just like, this shit's starting to get too expensive. I got twin boys now. I got to start saving my man. Fuck you. Fight your own battle.
Right.
Fight your own battle. You know, I was still frontline next time, but it was just like, damn, like, goddamn, like, I didn't do this for me, bro.
Yeah. You talked about BG and catching young BG in your second stint.
And hard worker, too. Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Hard worker.
I heard that. I've heard from multiple people that he really did work on his game.
First guy in, like, when they say, and people think it's a saying, BG is in there with a full sweat. Hour and a half before practice, working on his jump shot, working on his ball. He was so skilled. It was crazy. Obviously, the athleticism was insane, but he was super skilled and worked his ass off.
For someone that's never like seen or got a chance to watch BG, like how would you describe just being front and center and watching him grow?
Incredible. I mean, I've seen some of the greatest dunks of my life from Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
You know, and to keep it real, DeAndre Jordan started blossoming and dunking on my remember DeAndre Jordan dunked on Brandon Knight.
Right.
That one lob that I ran down the court. Like, but just seeing those guys, you know, you could throw it anywhere and they're gonna catch it. And Blake in particular, he was just, again, super, super skilled, was able to stretch his game out, was able to handle it like a real point forward. And man, not it looked like smooth, but it was like he got it done. He had a nice strong handle, could pass the ball, shoot, dunk. BG was a monster, man, but just he dealt with a lot of injuries, you know, but very, very, very talented. You gotta think there was a time when he was with the Clippers, that Lob City team, like he was on every single commercial,
right?
Like 5 different GameStop.
He was
Red
in a perfect
Bull
market
and,
for
bro.
it.
He was perfect. He was that light skin, safe,
right?
Dunker,
right. And he had the personality.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, Blake is super
funny.
He does stand up comedy. People don't know.
Yeah,
he does stand up comedy.
He does stand up comedy, bro.
Wow,
Blake is funny.
Yeah, he's funny. He's super funny.
I thought it was funny that whole year it was like Blake Griffin can't dunk anymore when he was on
You
Detroit, and
seen
like they kept going.
I haven't seen the stand up, but I know he's done it.
He's done some roasts too as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, he's funny. Blake is a good dude.
So fast forward to the latter part of your career, and you end up signing with the Kings in the beginning of the 2016-17 season.
Yeah, man.
Did you know when you signed with the Kings that were you in thought that you would end your career there?
For sure. I mean, this is the Sacramento got the new arena. You know, Kevin, the mayor at the time, Kevin Johnson, before he left, the one thing he did was make the Kings were about to leave. I think Kings were going to Seattle. So me being from there, I was just kind of following it closely. Never knew if it would pertain to me, but they kept the Kings in Sacramento. I signed like a 2-year with an option or something like that. And this team's just trying to get over the hump. And we're maybe 2 games out of the playoff picture, hit All-Star. But the whole year, it was kind of weird. Like the paper called me the Boogie Whisperer. Everyone was so scared of Boogie. They would come and ask me, how's Boog today? Or, you know, don't worry, we're not trading him. I'm talking about from the owners to the GMs to the coaches. Like, what's up with Boog? Because, you know, I guess it took a certain kind of person to get through to him. But me and him hit it off the rip. You know, that was my little homie for real, like big little homie. But they ended up trading him at the All-Star. He found out at the All-Star game. On the podium, they traded him after saying they weren't going to trade him. So then I hear that, see that, and I'm like, damn, I'm too old. I'm 36, 37. And, me and Vladi talked and, agreed to go my ways, but let me get my bread. And it kind of happened as a perfect storm where I got released during All-Star break. I think the first game out of All-Star, KD hyperextended his knee in D.C. And next thing I know, Steve Kerr calls me. I'm on a plane to Chicago. So, I get a chance to go to this team 10 years after the We Believe situation. Like I told you earlier, it was weird, the fascination with that team from Steph and Draymond and Iggy and to the media, to some of the coaches. Like everyone was just really fascinated with the team. The fans loved me being back. But the fucked up part about that was I literally I got to play like 5 minutes with KD because the first game he came back like a week before All-Star for the playoffs started, and I had like the worst sprained ankle of my life. So I go down in the first quarter and I can't really come back. I try every single round to come back, but me being an older player at that time, I know it. They're not going to change, playoff rotations kind of get locked unless you're a superstar. And I wasn't a superstar. So I wasn't really ever healthy to get enough out there. So that's where kind of when people hear like, I won a championship, but I didn't accept my ring or anything like that. And I just kind of felt like my career was such a grind and a roller coaster that if I was healthy, I would have been out there guarding Kawhi during this run and all the superstars with, Dame and CJ and all those guys that we played along the way. LeBron in the finals, that I didn't get a chance to do that. Like, it just felt like kind of like it was so disheartening. But at the same time, I couldn't bitch and complain. I had to be a good vet. So I kind of tried to keep myself in shape, and would talk to Dre and Clay sometimes when they would get down, and just kind of be like that vet, that OG presence. Although they had plenty of it, I'm not trying to claim any kind of credit for that, but just to kind of be in that vet and just being cool and having dope conversations with KD after games and bonding with Draymond and fucking with Clay, and it was just a cool time that I figured, like, although I didn't get to play as much, this is year 15, I won. I'm not getting a chance to see my twins. I miss my sons. Like I was telling you before we started, man, I'm 37. The twins are 8 now. So it's just like, I'm missing so many times. So I thought, okay, I'm still getting paid for another 2 years. It's time to step away from the game. So I probably could have played. I played 15, could have got paid for 17. I still got paid for 17. Probably could have played another 2-3 years, maybe got to 17 or 18 years. But I just felt like the investments I made had started flourishing. I wanted to be a dad and do all that dad shit. So I retired and started coaching my kids and went and won full custody of them and kind of left and became like a real full-time dad.
Yeah.
Come on. Give it up for the greatest dad of all time.
That's awesome, brother.
I'm talking about.
Matt, I heard you're actually going to be coaching one of Paul's AU teams. Talk to us a
I'm in
little
the
bit about
family
that.
now, man. No, it was just dope. I mean, P's always been super gracious. Used to send our team shoes for the twins, and used to always look out for the twins. And we built a real good program. National championships as 8th graders, but our program wasn't big enough to go to EYBL. So we merged with his 15U, and so I'm over there coaching now. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
What I mean?
Yes, sir.
Help, continue to help build this legacy off the court with you and your family. And I'm definitely looking forward to the opportunity, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So I need them new PGs now, though, bro. I'm gonna be on the sideline with them.
Yeah,
I'm a 14.
got
Probably same
you.
size as you.
I don't know how that slipped my mind. I forgot all about that we brought you over. We appreciate you, bro, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
For real. Because we do got something special going on.
Yeah.
The young guys have been playing their asses off. And I've been amazed. I went to a couple of the tournaments this past summer and got a chance to watch them.
Yeah.
We had Carter Bryant, we had Jace Richardson. They going on, but they kind of started the foundation for us.
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys, that unit that kind of put us on the map to be where we're at now. So, I mean, I know the twins is going to turn up. They're going to take us to a whole nother level. Looking forward to that.
Man.
What position they play?
They're versatile, bro. They play it all.
How tall are they?
They're about 6'1", 6'2". They could shoot the ball, but what was crazy was one of them sprained their wrist, and we went and got to a hand and foot specialist in Brentwood, and good news, only a bone bruise. Better news, and they're like, "What? You have huge. I've never seen growth plates in a hand like this." So he gets excited, like, "What's that mean?" So I'm like, "Doc, can you give his height?" So he's like, "Yeah, actually, when you're done, come back." They measure like 6'1.5". Measure the growth plates, put it on this little calculation. He's like, "I don't want to get you too excited, but you guys are gonna be about 6'10".
Damn.
I'm like, what? So
That's crazy.
they're only
is crazy.
6'1",
How tall are you?
6'2". I'm 6'8".
Wow, they're gonna be taller than y'all.
So yeah, right now, it's obviously working on this guard skill set, but if they get to 6'10", it's gonna be a problem.
It's going to be a problem.
sure.
And they already on the stage as freshmen. So, sheesh.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to the summer. Shout out Byron and the rest of the family for bringing me in. Obviously you, but definitely looking forward to representing the squad.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's love. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Stay tuned.